cheek, and more than enough of it to feed the masses. Today, I see you in every busted lip and backroom hand job. My God, who has been so quiet, this must be your work, as baffling as all of your other mercies. Boy, your voice is getting rusty, all the things you never said.
Check 1 2 1 2. Check 1 2 2. Check pot 1 2. Test 1 2 2 2. Check. No, it's okay. 1 2. Check 1 2 1 2. Check 1. Check 1 2. Check 1. Check 1. Check 1 2.
Hey everybody, how are you today? This is a slight growth from our audience last year. We call that a win. Hooray. Thanks so much for being here today. This is by far my love child of work and the core of my practice. This is Stage to Page, and I am going to just talk a bit about that. Then we're going to have a little bit of talk from all of these artists on stage, including the ones who play music. Sound good? You have to say words. You'll be fine. I'll just feed you what to say in your ear. It's good. And then we have two lovely poets from the festival coming up, and we'll be playing a little bit with their work. Sound okay? Then, depending on how much time, I might put one of my poems in there just to, because of like praxis and things I want to make sure we hit. But then after that, depending on how much time we have, we might also bring up some of you folks. We might play with some improv stuff. We'll have a nice jam session led by two legendary people to my right. Does it sound fun? So what this requires is just play. But first, the lecture, sort of. So. You want music for the lecture, John? Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Something in like G sharp major. I'm totally kidding. Whatever you want. It's cool. Just keep it soft. All right, so Stage to Page was created because I come from a theater background, and I was noticing possibilities within spoken word. So many spoken word artists write for themselves. Who here is a poet that writes for themselves? Who here writes and performs for themselves? You write your stuff, you go on the mic, you read your stuff, correct? You write in a way that you automatically understand based on your memories. How many of us want to publish someday or already are published? So for me, it was a very strange dissonance chord. We workshop all the way right through. We show you and tell you, okay? Okay. And for me, it was really challenging when I had many a well-meaning teacher, often white, often cis women, who would want to read my work to their youth, their students. I'm like, what does it mean for a queer, non-binary Asian voice tongue to be on someone else's mouth, coming out there? And also, I was thinking about so many gaps and spaces where many of us are writers and don't spend as much time equally in that work of like getting on stage and learning how to use our bodies to create sound so people understand us. Sound fair? Or vice versa. So I thought about reversing play development methodology to look at how we can unpack and rethink about writing and work. And I want to take a moment to shout out Lillian Allen here, dub poet, mother, legend. What's up? Started the program at OCAD, talked about pedagogy before any of us were born? No. Before any of us were around, writing poetry. And let's just have a moment of pause for a second, because it comes down to this. I think that we as poets represent some of the most marginalized voices in this universe. And for us to have solidarity, it's about learning from each other. And that really comes from oral traditions, how we pass the voice on, how we hear the voice, how we embody that. So with that context, with the desire to learn today, the willingness to play today, we acknowledge that we are on the ancestral, unceded, traditional lands of the Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh nations. We acknowledge that by having our stories here, we displace other stories. In one of my poems, and I'm not a genius for it, I had this line when I was researching the forced migration and the willing migration and the seemingly forced migration of people that look like me here, saying that we know what stolen land looks like. And I was reminded today by teacher, dub poet, mother, about the global view and how things like in Palestine, in Congo, in Pakistan, in the US, in here, north of here, that's still happening. So whatever you learn today, let's all commit to taking that learning to amplify another voice and give them that knowledge too. Sound okay? Great. And with that, I have one agreement to make. In terms of theory, praxis, skill, learning, share widely. We're live streamed, hey, but this is going to be taken down in about a week anyway. Anything that I say, go for it, whatever, right? But we do have poets coming to share work. You might be sharing work that might be personal, so consent. Please don't share shit unless you have permission to share shit. Is that all right? Don't take pictures without it. Don't do things without it, whatever. I'm okay because I signed a release form. Some of y'all may not have done that, okay? Cool. Let's do a workshop, you good? All right, let's do this. Let's get to learning. All right, stage the page, let's go. I love that you're gonna clap or sort of clap, and then we're gonna sit down and talk a bit. So, I was so stoked about today because some of my best friends are on this stage, and these are some of the best in their crafts anywhere ever on this planet, and it's a gift for you. I have been teaching for about 20-ish years now in different spaces, and I keep hearing students who want to explore music, explore interdisciplinarity, or try new things, dance, movement, cooking, whatever, right? And so I'm like, what would be the coolest thing is what if we just set their bar really high so they had really bad expectations later? I'm kidding, but not really. Because today, what's gonna happen is we have a bunch of different texts here that are cold read, brand new, and you're gonna learn from touring artists, what it's like to work with touring musicians. You're gonna hear about what it's like to be in a studio in North Vancouver, not going home at night for 4 days in a row, C.R. Avery, my housemate, creating work with musicians. And you're gonna hear from actors like Adrian Neblett who will say, oh, cool, this is new text. Here's how I approach it when I study and develop it. Sound good? All right, I've talked enough. So, I'm gonna pass this over. Oh, also those people in the back are gonna say things too. Can you please take the microphone and introduce yourselves? And I may ask you a question, but generally speaking, I want you to speak a bit about your approach to collaborating with a new artist, a new text. That's sound doable? Let's keep it a tight 3 minutes each. Cool? Great. Who wants to start? Leo! Let's go.
Hello. Give it to me, band. No, I was just joking, but that would have been slick if we just went right into it. This is what it's like collaborating with a new text. Always keep them on your toes. How are y'all? What's up? My name's Leo, he, him pronouns. Pleasure to be here. I'm a artist, a singer, songwriter, rock and roller, galactical songster. Just pulling words out. And yeah, so the thing that I like to do when I'm collaborating with new text, honestly, just staying open, just really just staying open. That's all I can really think of right now, is the opportunity to just kind of go with the flow of it. I really try to keep as much of an open mind as possible, and kind of the yes and, classics. And try it all out. That's what I try to do. Try it all out, see what sticks, and also be down to take the lead or not take the lead. So yeah, I just flow with it. That's kind of my jive.
Everyone, this is Kevin. Come on now, give it up for Kevin. And this is my other dear friend, this is Roscoe. And I've been playing with both of them for a very long time, and I know they're both shy and do not want to touch this microphone. So out of respect, I will just speak in the trinity of the three of us. The reason these two I've been playing with them so long is maybe that dynamic. Kevin is an incredible arranger of horn parts. And he's a shy cat, but when you see him on stage, he's just straight lightning. And he's this beautiful dad that comes into a rehearsal, makes charts after listening to your tune, and then explodes. From dance music to getting called to get charts for musicians that are touring, coming into town, Kevin is who people call, because he's just a very solid human being. So one more time for Kevin, please. And the bass man, the upright bass, that also plays electric and is also a very good engineer and producer. I got booked for Canada Day out in Chilliwack, and it was Canada Day, and I had not gotten how much I was getting paid the day of the show. And so I just showed up and then asked other musicians that were playing to be in my backing band, because I just was worried about bringing a whole crew from East Van and then finding out it wasn't going down with price. And ever since then, I've been playing with this human being, because he just jumped on stage, no nerves, and went from blues to rap for an hour. And in lockdown, he was in my bubble, and we just created the whole time. And he's from the country music background, but when I called him to do this, he was like, yes. And as a bass player, he probably plays in 6 different bands in town, and it's a guy that you want in your corner. And whoever performs tonight or this afternoon, he'll be watching and listening and not just playing the bass, but accompanying you. And that's his grace and beauty. So please, one more time for Ross Fairburn. And like I said, my name's CR, and I've just been Leo's buddy for a long time. And when I see Leo on a bill, I say yes.
Maybe we'll keep this mic there and you have that mic over there. Sound okay?
Okay.
That was a really, really humble speak about himself. C.R. Avery is a living legend, one of the original Tofu, Tons of Fun University, and most importantly, everything I dream about doing and being as an artistic director, and I struggling through the system and applying for grants and whatnot, this cat here just does it. Like, just does it. At the end of this week, on Saturday, after the Right Bloody North Showcase, led by the incredible Brad Morden, who's behind the laptop. Give it up for Brad Morden right there. I don't know if I'm not that old, but when I say young, I mean, did you just nod your head, Michael? Thank you. When I say young, I mean like voice young. And I still consider myself in the youngish range. But when we talk about young poets and new poets, I don't think the folks here really actually understand the magnitude of the commitment to learning and developing artists that's living in this room right now, right here. C.R. Avery saw me perform like one time, like one banger slam poem or something, and then invited me to go and do a book launch with him. And through there, I met every musical artist I've worked with since I've gotten here in terms of my own work. And he just does it. And it's the most incredible thing. And so the end of this week, after the Right Bloody North Showcase, is the Abbey, where CR brings in folks and they jam to poetry, do music, do stand-up, the whole whatever. There's very few tickets, so you can kind of sneak in. If you know, you know. And that's all I'm going to say about that, actually. If you know, you know. If you don't know, sorry about it. So just want to give a big shout out there. And I'll pass it over to this lovely human who's also helped me with pretty much every tape that I've booked. Here you go. Most tapes. Yeah.
Not every tape.
Most tapes.
So, hello, I'm Adrian Neblett. I am primarily an actor, but I also have been venturing off into producing short films and such in the last few years. Process? Let me say process in New York?
About when you approach new work, new tracks. You've done a lot of that.
Yeah. I think one of the most important things, like you said, is to remain open, to approach things with a childlike curiosity, to listen to your body and your feelings and your experiences about what the words on the page bring up in you. And that therefore then forms your connection, your unique connection to that specific piece of work. And I suppose also the things that come up that maybe are outside or different than you are as a person. And, you know, we're doing cold reads today, but if you're given more time, then I like to say it becomes like a meditation between the work and you develop into somebody else somewhere in between that then serves the story. Yeah, I'll leave it there.
I think that being open is really important. I also think that creative constraints are really important. And I think that I feel like we just want to start jamming. So I'm going to talk very shortly. We're going to jump in. Is that okay? Yeah? And what I'll say about this is that when I've been asked to choreograph or direct or create something, and they just go do it, it can be really challenging. So oftentimes having a prompt, having some sort of container, and oftentimes with musicians, they have the container. I'm going to use this instrument. It allows me to do these things to create sound to sometimes support the work you're doing as the primary voice, if you're the writer coming in, or two, collaborate with you, saying, we're coming together equally. Part of stage debate, part of my MFA research, it's not going to be dissertation, don't worry, it's not very long. When I do that, I explore the idea of, when it comes to identity politics, people talk about, oh, I'm Asian, I'm queer, I'm non-binary, whatever, right? And I talk to artists, I'm like, I'm a tap dancer, I'm a cellist, I'm a whatever. I'm like, what if we did a project, and I did this in my grad program, where we just only communicated through how we identify. There's no words, or if words is what you did, that's it, but if you were just gonna tap your response to collaborate, what do we create together? And it was also a completely different thing. I wanna give acknowledgements, because it's important to cite these names for the people who don't know. There is a sound symposium that happens in I think it's in Micmac territory, and on the East Coast, that really explores sound art and improvisation. That's also a big part of our practice in spoken word. We often get mired in this like narrow slam view of what it is, but it's a wide range of stuff. So a part of being open is also coming with the agreement that we're going to be open. With an agreement that you paid me how much money for how much time? For dancers, I really want to do dancing, so next year we're going to try to do dancers. I've been guilty of it too, and I've also been the person guilting people. It's like, I want you to come and do this choreography for me. Sure, okay, cool. Do you have any ideas? I agree to come here to be a body. You're asking me now to generate something. So it's really about what are you agreeing to, and what communion do we have from that? Cool? I think that's enough kind of seed planting. Let's show them, all right? Yeah? All right, so here's how this is going to run. I'm going to invite up your first poet tonight, and we're going to have Adrian, completely never seen this before, cold read this piece. Then we'll hear Adrian talk a bit about maybe, thoughts and whatever. I'll ask the poet, what are your thoughts about it? What are you looking for today? And then we'll jam around it. And then the poet will get a chance to perform it as well. Sound okay? Cool. So please welcome the first poet to the stage, Star Jewel. Come on up. Star, I never like talking about the work. I want to jump into it. But do you want to talk about it before we pass it out, or what do you want to do? Let's just jump into it. But tell them about yourselves while I do this thing.
Okay. Hi, guys. My name's Star. I'm competing in SIPS this year. I also competed in SIPS last year. I originally grew up in Northwestern Ontario, but currently I'm studying at the University of Toronto, so that's where I am right now. And this poem that I wrote is actually from a poetry course that I took this semester. So.
Yeah, learning.
Yeah.
Where's the course from?
U of T. It's
nice.
I don't know if any of you guys know Noga. I think that's what you say. Noga. She's a Canadian author, but yeah.
Cool, great. Thank you so much. So you ready for Adrian to read this? Do you want the music stand? What do you want?
I'm going to take the music stand.
Okay. I'll give you this to you.
You weren't kidding about this text size.
The other ones are bigger. It's bigger, I swear. If someone sent me a JPEG,
how to make a dude feel old. Here, read this.
Okay.
I think I'll manage. Let's go higher. for me?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, bring it right up.
Mike will get the camera angles, don't worry. All right.
Sonder. To the woman in aisle 5 who juggles a toddler with a box of Ritz crackers, how often do you clean your living room? I bet you slurp on porridge like a doomsday meal. Make it last until 5 p.m., like unopened bottle of wine. Sleep before the hunger creeps and the monitor cries. 8 o'clock, bedtime. To the homeless man, pushing a shopping cart full of Salvation sweaters and glass bottles. Don't we all cling to things that feel foreign? Strangers' sleeves that wrap around shoulders, 5 cents and a handful of pixie sticks. When the first of the month still left enough to enjoy a fix. You loved too hard and lost it. To the cyclist on Jane and Finch, squeezed into extra small souvenir sweater. I wonder how many of us seek the solitude of vacation, only to find ourselves strolling down a dark alley. Or, I could be mistaken, maybe you felt the tingle of roofied beer, stumbled over dead bodies like words. Now places don't incite fear. To the gym goer, flaunting an Apple Watch and punching on a red bag of sawdust. Ma and Pa divorced, but the fox and the hound is the only loss left your eyes wet. You may harbor the chalk taste of protein powder, but it won't masquerade the flavor of bullshit. Muscle conceals the inner child, but the mind still cries for a cigarette. To the posh girl from introductory psychology with cheek-stained hangover smoothie. Everyone takes this course for one reason, to diagnose themselves. I bet by 12, you learn that summer camp mattresses feel identical to psych ward twins. I bet you checked yourself in 5 times. I bet we ate that same bland chicken. To my doppelganger, dressed like summer, slamming down shots at Thanksgiving dinner. You introduced your family as the fun type. Now you're cursed with the permanent search for stimulating nights. Fall into the reckless arms of head nodders and compulsive liars. Is it tough to thirst for drunk love like gasoline fire? To father with the calloused hands of cardboard, who taught me skates before kitchen blades. You have never taken a handout, always clocking overtime payouts. I inherited your locks, but more prominently, your fists. I wonder if when Grandpa never watched a hockey game, you grew a hate for those who call in sick. To the person who overthinks, self-critiques, but seeks peace in amalgamation. We can sonder when nobody appears to understand, or when the pain is illiterate and we cannot interpret a future plan. It is normal. It is normal to want what others have. If you gouge a little deeper, you may discover a familiar hand.
I feel like Jennifer Hudson on a TV show host. I'd rather be Clay Clarkson. Okay. How was that read for you?
Fun. Yeah. It seems like a not very descriptive word, but it's always fun to like pass through the instrument, through the body, things that you weren't expecting. Yeah.
Tell us about the work.
The work was inspired by my friend Summer, actually. We were sitting at a bar one night, and she's like, do you ever sonder? Like, do you ever just stare at people and imagine, like, what their life is like? And so, yeah, it's just that idea of, like, sitting in a park or, like, sitting in a public space and just people watching and relating your own experiences in life to those other people and finding solace in that. Yeah.
musicians, artists, what are things that inspire you about this? And who wants to take a lead in starting a jam around it and play around it?
Do you want to do it again and we play underneath it?
Yeah. Do you want to do it, or do you want Adrian to do it?
Can we do one thing fun? After you do the cigarette and the mind line, let Kevin take a solo for a few bars and then come back to finish the piece.
Where is the cigarette?
Just at the end of the first page.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Just take a little break.
Quick question for you. It's, you all can't see this, but it's formatted in a very particular way. Is there something specific you're trying to indicate by the format?
Not like as much. It was originally formatted a different way, and it's through workshop. My classmates actually suggested that format. I think having the longer lines highlights more of the first image you're seeing of that person, and then the brackets under, or the paragraph underneath that stands underneath are more about the pondering of what's like beneath that.
Okay, copy that. Yeah, I'll use this stuff. No, I think I'm okay.
There's always something that the second cold read is always like more fun for me. Once I've had it like gone it one time,
It'll be different.
it'll be different.
Sonder. To the woman in aisle 5 who juggles a toddler with a box of Ritz crackers. How often do you reclean your living room? I bet you slurp on porridge like a doomsday meal. Make it last until 5 p.m. Like an open bottle of wine. Sleep before the hunger creeps and the monitor cries. 8 o'clock bedtime. To the homeless man pushing a shopping cart full of Salvation sweaters and glass bottles. Don't we all cling to things that feel foreign? Stranger sleeves that wrap around shoulders. 5 cents and a handful of pixie sticks. When the first of the month still left enough to enjoy a fix. You loved too hard and lost it. To the cyclist on Jane and Finch squeezed into extra small souvenir sweater. I wonder how many of us seek the solitude of vacation only to find ourselves strolling down a dark alley. Or I could be mistaken. Maybe you felt the single of a roofied beer. Stumbled over dead bodies like words. Now places don't incite fear. To the gym goer flaunting an Apple Watch and punching on a red bag of sawdust. Ma and Pa divorced, but the fox and the hound is the only loss that your eyes wet. You may harbor in the chalk taste of protein powder, but it won't masquerade the flavor of bullshit. Muscle conceals the inner child, but the mind still cries for a cigarette. To the posh girl from introductory psychology with cheek-stained hangover smoothie. Everybody takes this course for one reason, to diagnose themselves. I bet by 12, you learn that summer camp mattresses feel identical to psych ward twins. I bet you checked yourself in 5 times. I bet we ate the same bland chicken. To my doppelganger, dressed like summer, slamming down shots at Thanksgiving dinner. You introduced your family as the fun type. Now you're cursed with the permanent search for stimulating nights. Fall into the reckless arms of head nodders and compulsive liars. Is it tough to thirst for drunk love like gasoline fire? To the father with calloused hands of cardboard who taught me skates before kitchen blades. You have never taken a handout, always clocking overtime payouts. I inherited your locks, but more prominently, your fists. I wonder if when Grandpa never watched a hockey game, you grew a hate for those who call in sick. To the person who overthinks, self-critiques, but seeks peace in amalgamation, we can sonder when nobody appears to understand, or when the pain is illiterate and we cannot interpret a future plan. Is it normal? It is normal. It is normal to want what others have. If you gouge a little deeper, you may discover a familiar hand. Sonder.
Give it up for the band. Sorry, how was that for you?
It was so good.
What did it give you any thoughts about where this could go? Was it anywhere near what you had envisioned it to be?
It was kind of beyond what I envisioned it, because like this is a poem that I never like wrote for like slam purposes, so it was really interesting how it could still be applied in like a musical way. And I really like the jazz aspect of it and kind of the dark eeriness to it that I think just speaking it, the poem doesn't radiate as much.
The reason I curated, Star sent many offerings, and the reason I picked this, but it was great though. They were all wonderful. You have some I really appreciate in your writing that your structure is very visual on the page, which is always a joy to play with, to give more information from the author as you're creating. What I liked about this Sonder is that it lent itself to a lot of cinematic moves and themes. You know, the idea of watching, and so there's this. Literally, it's about the idea of watching, right, and seeing these possible and creating these possible stories. I'd like to try it one more time with the band, and then you with the band if you want to. Okay, you don't have to if you don't want to, but I was hoping that Leah, you might like add some vocals to this and play. Yeah, cool. Yeah, let me get you a mic stand and get going. I've just received an alert on my device that there's some tech stuff. Not you. You're doing great. Give it up for Michael. Be weird. Coordinator of Throw in Montreal. It's just like holding down the live stream. Anyway, it's a box office thing, which is my fault. Someone can't see my access, so I'm going to do a quick email. Please don't judge that I'm not paying attention. I am. I'm just also helping more people see the show. Okay. box of Ritz crackers. Ooh, we can sunder. Ooh, yeah, 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 yeah. Whoa. Yeah, to the homeless man pushing shopper carts full of salvation, sweaters and glass bottles, we can saunder. Hey, yeah. Ooh, get down. Ooh. To the cyclist, Jane and Frost squeezed in between small salvation sweaters. We can saunder, saunder, wander, saunder. Ooh, 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 Jim Gore, flaunting Apple Watch, punching red bags. I saunder, wander, saunder. That's right. I'm watching you. Saunder. Hey, yeah, yeah, yeah. We can saunder. We can saunder. When nobody appears to understand, I saunder. When the pain is too much, we can interpret the future plans. It's normal, normal. No more, no more, no more. Ooh, 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 ooh. It's normal to want what others have, I tell you. A little deeper, you can discover familiar hand. I saunder, 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 saunder. We can saunder. I saunder, I watch it all. I saunder, I saunder, I watch it all. We can saunder, saunder, saunder. Good for Leo. So as is tradition, because it's a tradition now, we've had a bunch of these now, as a chance for the first voice to share the work. Do you want to do it? Let's go! All right. Do you want the band, the musicians? What do you want to do? It's your call. Great.
Why don't you start and slowly shift in?
Saunder. To the woman in aisle 5 who juggles a toddler with a box of Ritz crackers. How often do you re-clean your living room? I bet you slurp on porridge like a doomsday meal. Make it last until 5 p.m. like unopened bottle of wine, sleep before the hunger creeps and the monitor cries, 8 o'clock bedtime. To the homeless man, pushing a shopping cart full of Salvation sweaters and glass bottles. Don't we all cling to things that feel foreign? Strangers' sleeves that wrap around shoulders, 5 cents and a handful of pixie sticks, when the first of the month still left enough to enjoy a fix. You loved too hard and lost it. To the cyclist on Jane and Finch squeezed into extra small souvenir sweater. I wonder how many of us seek the solitude of vacation only to find ourselves strolling down a dark alley. Or I could be mistaken. Maybe you felt the tingle of a roofied beer. Stumbled over dead bodies like words. Now places don't incite fear. To the gym goer, flaunting an Apple Watch and punching on red bag of sawdust. Ma and Pa divorced, but the fox and the hound is the only loss that left your eyes wet. You may harbor in the chalk taste of protein powder, but it won't masquerade the flavor of bullshit. Muscle conceals the inner child, but the mind still cries for a cigarette. To the posh girl, from introductory psychology with cheek-stained hangover smoothie. Everybody takes this course for one reason, to diagnose themselves. I bet by 12, you learned that summer camp mattresses feel identical to psych ward twins. I bet you checked yourself in 5 times. I bet we ate the same bland chicken. To my doppelganger, dressed like summer, slamming down shots at Thanksgiving dinner. You introduced your family as the fun type. Now you're cursed with the permanent search for stimulating nights. Fall into the reckless hands of head nodders and compulsive liars. Is it tough to thirst for drunk love like gasoline fire? To father, with calloused hands of cardboard, who taught me skates before kitchen blades. You have never taken a handout, always clocking overtime payouts. I inherited your locks, but more prominently, your fists. I wonder if when Grandpa never watched a hockey game, you grew a hate for those who call in sick. To the person who overthinks, self-critiques, but seeks peace and amalgamation. We can sonder when nobody appears to understand, or when the pain is illiterate and we cannot interpret a future plan. It is normal. It is normal to want what others have. But if you gouge a little deeper, you may discover a familiar hand.
Give it up for the band. Thank you. Kevin, Ross, CR, Leo, Adrian, Star, Jewel. Your turn, folks. How was that for you? Use your words. What did you discover, audience? Go, Eli, yeah. So the note is that, the observation is that having the melody behind it adds more layers of the emotion that you want to convey. Is that right? Cool. Did anyone have any thoughts about how uniquely different each iteration was? So there's still this kind of underlying, I feel like there's a natural underlying truth in the piece, but then as you shift it, there's some really neat, fun play. Feeling okay? You ready? Yeah. Yeah. Speaking of iterations, I have been exploring language, and different languages, multiple languages. I speak about 4 of them, not well. And as an actor, when I look at a text that's new to me, I often try to translate it to something I know, right? So we have a real gift today. The lovely MC Joannis from the French section of this landmass is going to come by and offer a poem in French and English. So let's play with that. So cool? Come on up. Mary Claude, let's go. So please just tell us a bit about yourself, and I'm going to get this poem ready, okay? Just tell us a bit about yourself. Introduce yourself.
Me?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm Marie-Claude from Quebec. I don't know what I'm supposed to say. I'm here and happy to be here with you. So I'm French Canadian, so all my poems are in French. We translate them to be here. So. And with the magic, we have photocopies. Wow. Wow. Okay. Wow. No, I did the translation. Oh, okay. That's okay.
I didn't get it in time, so we can use it later. Is that okay?
Okay, that's okay. There's here the translation if you want it. The better translation, but
Oh, then we can give this to Adrian.
yeah, it's better.
Great. Cool. Did you want to do it first, or do you want Adrian to do it first? You to decide. It's your call.
Maybe it's better if we all just start first.
Sure.
Okay.
Your call. Great.
Is on it? Okay, thank you.
Thanks so much.
So everybody understand that on the QR code there's the text with the translation. So we'll do it in French because it's interesting. You don't understand what happened, but maybe just don't look at the translation first, because if you look at the translation, you don't look at me. And it's something I want to share to you. J'ai une invitation à vous faire. Qu'on prenne le bord, qu'on lève nos gens et morts. J'aimerais ça qu'on se construise un monde sans échelon, qu'on laisse sécher nos ambitions personnelles au vent, sans la corde raide de nos attentes mutuelles. Qu'on collectionne nos utopies comme des trophées gagnés à sueur de notre désillusion. Je ne veux pas refaire le monde. Je veux juste leur virer de bord, virer par-dessus le bord du précipice de nos solitudes, que ça nous ouvre un sentier praticable. Je rêve de bâtir une immense chaise berçante, qu'on s'assoit toutes les fesses dessus, qu'on se replace le derrière tant que tout le monde n'aura pas sa place, qu'on laisse le vent nous pousser par en avant, puis même par en arrière, jusqu'à ce que les comptines reviennent à nos lèvres d'enfants, qu'on les chante en canon, sans boulet. Alors peut-être que ce qui reste d'ado idéaliste en nous retrouvera sa place dans nos grands corps malades. J'aimerais jeter à terre les murs de la raison, tromper l'envie de réussir, qu'on se déboîte les épaules à pelleter des nuages, peut-être même couper le courant. Me semble que l'électricité qu'il y a dans l'air est bien suffisante. Viens-tu? On va se faire une traîne d'ennui, avancer à l'aveugle dans le noir, laisser un rayon de lune percer nos mémoires. On pourrait devancer la tournée des éboueurs, réchapper les dessins d'enfants abandonnés dans des bacs sans espoir de récupération. Dans l'euphorie, les placarder par-dessus les publicités sans valeur. Surprendre les enfants, se surprendre nous-mêmes. J'en ramènerai quelques-uns dans une forêt sans lascaux en m'organisant pour qu'on se perde en chemin, parce que c'est la seule façon que j'ai expérimentée pour me retrouver. Une fois rendu dans le bois, on va allumer un grand feu de joie. Je vais te demander de souffler sur les braises pour éliminer ce qui restera de malaise. On va flamber de l'épinette puis nos incertitudes pour que ça crépite puis pow! Que ça pète. Quand le soleil va se lever puis que les oiseaux vont nous enterrer, on va juste se taire. Notre nature aura repris ses droits un moment donné quelque part. Probablement au moment où nos résistances se seront accordées un break radical, une pause intemporelle, au bout du tas de branches qui aura transformé ensemble notre pudeur, qui aura mis en lumière le petit bout d'humanité qui rétablit la connexion. On se sera rappelé que nous aussi, on va finir en poussière, puis que c'est peut-être bien le temps de changer nos repères.
So if you can pass your device over to Adrian, this one here. This is the actual translation that Marie-Claude wants to use. It's all good? So who where?
No, I prefer this one.
Yeah.
You think?
Okay, good. Yeah, good. Great. So it's all the bolded text. Doable?
Okay, let's try it out.
I don't think anyone realizes the amount of work that I've put on this human. Like seriously, I'll pay you later. Thank you.
Je vais essayer. Construire l'utopie. I have a proposal. Let's take it to the edge. Let's raise our heads up. I'm fed up. I would like us to build a world without hierarchies. Let our personal ambitions be taken by the wind, without tug of war between our shared expectations. Let us collect our utopias, like trophies won by the sweat of our disillusions. I don't want to undo the world. I just want it to take a U-turn, to veer over the edge of the precipice of our solitudes. May this open up a passable path for us. I dream of building a huge rocking chair. Let's all sit with our bottoms on it. Let's snuggle each other until everyone has a place. Let the wind push us forward, and even backwards, until the nursery rhymes return to our childhood lips. Let them be sung like a cannon without a cannonball. So, perhaps what remains of the idealistic teenagers in us will find its place in our big, sick bodies. I would like to throw down the walls of reason, deceive the desire to succeed. Let us dislocate our shoulders to shovel clouds, maybe even cut the power. It seems to me that the electricity in the air is quite sufficient. Are you coming? We're going to go on a trail in the night. Moving forward blindly in the dark, let a ray of moon pierce our memories. We could get ahead of the garbage collectors tour, recover drawings abandoned in bins with no hope of recovery. In euphoria, plaster them all over the worthless advertisements. Surprise the children. Surprise ourselves. I would bring a few back to a forest without a last call, by planning to get lost along the way, because it's the only way I've tried to find myself. Once in the woods, we are going to light a big bonfire. I'm going to ask you to blow on the embers to eliminate what remains of the discomfort. We're going to burn spruce and our uncertainties so that it crackles and pow, it burns. When the sun rises and the bird songs will bury us, we'll just shut up. Our nature will have regained its rights at a given moment, somewhere, probably at the moment when our resistance gave itself a radical break, a timeless break. At the end of a pile of branches which will have transformed our modesty into ashes, who will have highlighted the little piece of humanity that reestablishes the connection? We will have remembered that we too will end up dust. And it's maybe time to change our course.
I had an offer, so if I can throw it your way, is that cool? If I can turn it over to you, but if we could actually just play with both languages, like passing the mic back and forth organically. How do you feel about that? Yeah, sound good? Let's give it a go. Whoever can choose to start, Sierra, please take lead.
J'ai une invitation à vous faire. Qu'on prenne le bord, qu'on lève nos j'en ai marre.
I have a proposal. Let's take it to the edge. Let's raise our head. I'm fed up.
J'aimerais ça qu'on se construise un monde sans échelon, qu'on laisse sécher nos ambitions personnelles au vent, sans la corde raide de nos attentes mutuelles.
I would like us to build a world without hierarchies. Let our personal ambitions be taken by the wind, without tug of war between our shared expectations.
Qu'on collectionne nos utopies
Let us collect our utopias,
comme des trophées gagnés à sueur de notre désillusion.
like trophies won by the sweat of our disillusions.
Je veux pas refaire le monde.
I don't want to undo the world.
Je veux juste leur virer de bord, virer par-dessus le bord du précipice de nos solitudes.
I just want to take a U-turn, to veer over the edge of the precipice of our solitudes.
Que ça nous ouvre un sentier praticable.
May this open up a passable path for us.
Je rêve de bâtir une immense chaise berçante,
I dream of building a huge rocking chair.
qu'on s'assoie toutes les fesses dessus,
Let's all sit with our bottoms on it.
qu'on se replace le derrière tant que tout le monde n'aura pas sa place,
Let's snuggle each other until everyone has a place.
qu'on laisse le vent nous pousser par en avant, puis même par en arrière,
Let the wind push us forward and even backwards.
jusqu'à ce que les comptines reviennent à nos lèvres d'enfants, qu'on les chante en canon sans boulet,
Until the nursery rhymes return to our childhood lips, let them be sung like a cannon without a cannonball.
Alors peut-être que ce qui reste d'ado idéaliste en nous retrouvera sa place dans nos grands corps malades.
So perhaps what remains of the idealistic teenagers in us will find its place in our big sick bodies.
J'aimerais jeter à terre les murs de la raison, tromper l'envie de réussir, qu'on se déboîte les épaules à pelleter des nuages,
I would like to throw down the walls of reason, deceive the desire to succeed. Let us dislocate our shoulders to shovel clouds.
peut-être même couper le courant.
Maybe even cut the power.
Il me semble que l'électricité qu'il y a dans l'air est bien suffisante.
Seems to me that the electricity in the air is quite sufficient.
Viens-tu?
Are you coming?
On va se faire une trail d'ennui, avancer à l'aveugle dans le noir, laisser un rayon de lune percer nos mémoires.
We're going to go on a trail in the night, moving forward blindly in the dark. Let a ray of moon pierce our memories.
On pourrait devancer la tournée des éboueurs, réchapper les dessins d'enfants dans des bacs sans espoir de récupération, dans l'euphorie, les placarder par-dessus les publicités sans valeur.
We could get ahead of the garbage collection tour, recover drawings abandoned in bins with no hope of recovery. In euphoria, plaster them all over the worthless advertisements.
Surprendre les enfants,
Surprise the children.
se surprendre nous-mêmes.
Surprise ourselves.
J'en ramènerais quelques-uns dans une forêt sans lascales, en m'organisant pour qu'on se perde en chemin, parce que c'est le seul moyen que j'ai expérimenté pour se retrouver.
I would bring a few back to the forest without a last call, by planning to get lost along the way, because it's the only way I've tried to find myself.
Une fois dans le bois, on va allumer un grand feu de joie.
Once we're in the woods, we are going to build a big bonfire.
Je vais te demander de souffler sur les braises pour éliminer ce qui restera de malaise.
I'm going to ask you to blow on the embers to eliminate what remains of the discomfort.
On va flamber de l'épinette puis nos incertitudes pour que ça crépite puis pow! Que ça pète!
We're going to burn our spruce and our uncertainties so that it crackles and pow! It burns.
Quand le soleil va se lever
When the sun rises
et que les oiseaux vont nous enterrer,
and the bird songs will bury us,
on va juste se taire.
we'll just shut up.
Notre nature aura repris ses droits, un moment donné, quelque part.
Our nature will have regained its rights at a given moment, somewhere.
probablement au moment où nos résistances se seront accordées un break radical, une pause intemporelle.
Probably at the moment when our resistance gave itself a radical break. A timeless break.
Au bout du tas de branches qui aura transformé en cendre notre pudeur, qui aura mis en lumière le petit bout d'humanité qui rétablit la connexion.
At the end of a pile of branches, which will have transformed our modesty into ashes, who will have highlighted the little piece of humanity that reestablishes the connection.
On se sera rappelé que nous aussi, on va finir en poussière et que c'est peut-être bien le temps de changer nos repères.
We will have remembered that we too will end up in dust. And it's maybe time to change our course.
How's that, everybody? Emil, right? How's that for you?
Good, so good, thank you.
Did anyone make I feel like I'm actually in like a classroom, these really fucked up questions I'm asking. What did you notice about what you saw on stage today? But for real though, what'd you notice? Yes. So the music really influenced and matched what was happening. The thing I noticed, it wasn't a pop quiz, and just something my contribution is just the openness to play that everyone was talking about at the beginning. There was a real listening and a real generosity through the process. What was the most challenging thing about this for you both? You can blame me if you want. If there was anything at all. You made it look really easy.
It's been a while since I thought in French.
For me, just because it's long and I don't know you a lot, so to do the connection with you and also the musician and the audience, so that's a lot of thing going on. So with improvisation, so. But, yeah. Thank you.
Give it up for everybody here, Mary Claude. And see. We're doing great for time. I kind of wanted to do one myself, but I kind of don't actually. Wait a second. It's all right. I wasn't, you know when something, I kind of wanted to, but I'm like, no, I hate that. If you're going to do one poem, you do one poem. You're not doing 2 or 4 or 6 or whatever. It's just the thing you're going to do. And my reasoning is, I kind of want to have the audience be engaged more. And it really is incredibly challenging for an actor and a voice person to just use the muscles and apply to brand new text. But I did it intentionally, and I told these folks that because this is kind of like the first time when you go to that workshop where you hire the artist, like, hey, I'm new, what's gonna happen now, right? And the last year, these artists had like a week with the text before to really think and process and do the research and do text development. So this was really about playing in that way. But since we're playing, so let's fucking play. I'm gonna give folks a brief moment to like find a short poem, a short piece, okay? I think I will do a piece with us for about 5-10 minutes, and we'll jam with the folks there. That sound good to everyone? Yeah? We're right on time. In the meantime also, as I'm getting ready, are there any questions you folks have to these lovely artists here about process or thoughts? Yeah?
Okay, we're back. Hello. Yeah, I like that. If you're imagery or anything that you were thinking about when you were writing the poem, any other, yeah, in the moment, like a few short words. We don't necessarily need the entire poem right off the bat, because we'll play with it as it's all happening. But if there's a couple key words or any colors or any shapes or something like that, simple words. Like these are really big words some of the time, so I don't understand most of them. But if you can give me a few small words to deal with, that'll work.
Yeah, just like saying the mood too, like the mood that yeah, if you're able to say like the mood, or I would say, I always say like if I want something eerie, like I'm like trudging through the grass, like I'll say things like that. But like, yeah, sharing your mood or the mood of the song that you're wanting for the band to kind of tap into. Most musicians will be like, okay, mood, got you. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Tempo helps too, though, pace. So let us know if the help with that first run through is the pace that you were speaking at. Stand-ups, for example, they use 92 BPMs is like a good conversational tempo to elicit laughter, but if it's a different type of emotion that you're trying to elicit, we will pick that up from you picking up speed in your diction. But if you set kind of this is the groove that I want to pace the piece at, we'll try to respond accordingly, or we'll build accordingly.
Pace, few words, and mood. Those are the three. Pass this to you.
The piece we're doing here is actually, as I mentioned earlier, Sierra Avery runs a series called The Abbey. Sierra does anything from like hip hop to music to cinematography, makes a bunch of movies. And at the Abbey, he invited me to perform, and this is actually one of the pieces we did inspired by a song, by some Canadian music. But we're not going to do the Canadian song because there's copyright issues. But I just wanted to like use the text because I think it's, well, I like it. So we're just going to jump into it. Sound cool? All right. So, when I say it sounds cool, I know that feels like an implied you have to say yes. You can also say no. Let's do something else. Cool. All right. But Adrian, let's go. I'm really excited to see you read this. Hear you read this. And the font is bigger.
Oh, wow. I can see this one. Are we going with that?
Just you.
Just me? Just me? Okay. All right, I got it.
Just Adrian for now.
I'll just take it. I'll just take it.
In my hand, a matchbook. In my hand is an almost empty matchbook, surrounded by wildflowers, doused in I told you so's. Already engulfed in waves of heat, while futile flyers rain evaporating manufactured guilt. I can still see the sky, searching for direction. A patch of blue, a constellation, the moon, questioning if you'll make it through. My eyesight competes with the wafts of distracting indignation. My lungs compete with the trauma of who can breathe less. Everything dies just the same. And I won't remember you. I wonder if witches were bound by coniferous contempt, quick to combust in lesser evils compassion, or if deciding deciduous decimated them with a slow burn, so they left, lingering on how unloved we really are. I question if you've learned a lesson. In my arms is exhaustion, gripped by fumes of angry erasure, the weeping sentiments of thoughts and prayers. I can no longer see the sky. There is no visible horizon line, just the earth, wondering, when everything is burned to the ground, what will it take for the ground to burn? I ask, but you have nothing to say. This dust has blocked out the sun. It feels like a scorching midnight. I strike a match to shed some light. Though heat rises, fire is lateral when we, tinder, stand side by side, pushing each other into blaze, rushing the other, when we discover our entitlement is not fireproof and indignation is a canister of kerosene. It will not fuel your escape. And my feet? carrying nothing but a fantasy of Pangea, dreaming of the great tolerance, an impossible unification. I fail, and I fail in genuflection, knees collapsing into bleeding sap, trying to preserve melting memories in future amber. There is no justice in the flame. There is no oppression in the ash. There is no way to unseed the smoke, no carbon consent requested or offered. So make it incense as an offering. Let arson be medicine, bathe in soot and sin. Inhale empty apologies, become the sacrifice of some made-up religion, and face judgment of the people. Every post is public opinion. The cycle is the only one who does not discriminate. This combustion will erase the memory of our names. In my heart is a vacancy where I have forgotten you and I.
I'm like, I wrote that? I wrote that. But Adrian read it. Holy shit. That's better than I gotta read it. That was so. I'm feeling in my feels right now because I was surprised. Not surprised by Adrian's ability, but more that in this communion, he picked up on nuances in the text that I didn't put in there. It was just in there. And that's really, that I think that speaks to like, he knows who I am. And I think that really helps, right? When you have a collaborator that you know who they are. Yeah? You have thoughts, ideas? What's going on?
We're just talking music.
Say it into the mic so people hear you. What are you talking about? Let them know. Unveil the curtain. Be Brechtian.
Well, Leo was looking for a hook, something that they could, repeat over. And then we just said that in the choir tradition, sometimes if while you're reading, Leo finds a thing that they can just keep ripping on while you're still reading another part.
Oh, yeah?
That's what we were saying in whispers.
Ooh. No. Okay. All right. Do you want to play?
Yeah.
All right. Let's play. I'll do this one. I'm inspired to do some poetry, so I'm gonna do this one.
Just to wake up the room a little bit too, can we help Ross out a little bit here?
Oh, dang. All right.
Don't get lazy on us, people. Come on.
In my hand is an almost empty matchbook, surrounded by wildfires doused in I told you so's, already engulfed in waves of heat. While futile flyers rain evaporating manufactured guilt, I can still see the sky. Search for a direction, a patch of blue, a constellation, the moon. Questioning if you'll make it through. Questioning if you'll make it through. Questioning if you'll make it through. My eyesight competes with the wafts of distracting indignation. My lungs compete with the trauma of who can breathe less. Everything dies just the same. Questioning, questioning, and I won't remember you. I wonder if witches were bound by coniferous contempt, quick to combust in lesser evils compassion, or if deciding deciduous decimated them with a slow burn, so they left, lingering how unloved we really are. I question if you learned your lesson. In my arms is exhaustion, gripped by fumes of angry erasure, this weeping sentiments of thoughts and prayers, this weeping sentiment of thoughts and prayers, this weeping sentiment of thoughts and prayers, thoughts and prayers. I can no longer see the sky. There is no visible horizon line, just the earth wondering. When everything is burning to the ground, what will it take for the ground to burn? What will it take for the ground to burn? Burn, 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 burn. I I ask, but you have nothing to say. This dust has blocked out the sun. It feels like a scorching midnight. I strike a match to shed some light, and though heat rises, fire is lateral, and we, tinder, stand side by side, pushing each other into the blaze, rushing the other. When we discover our entitlement is not fireproof, and indignation is a canister of kerosene. It will not fuel your escape. There is no escape. And my feet carry nothing but a fantasy of Pangea. Dreaming of the great tolerance, an impossible unification, I fail and I fall and I fail into genuflection, knees collapsing into bleeding sap, trying to preserve melting memories in future amber. There is no justice in the flame. There is no justice in the flame. There is no oppression in the ash. There is no justice. There is no way to unseat to the smoke. No carbon consent requested or offered. So make it incense as an offering. Let arson be medicine. Bathe in soot and sin. Inhale empty apologies, questioning. Become the sacrifice of some made-up religion. And face the judgment of the people. Every post is a public opinion. The cycle is the only one who does not discriminate. This combustion will erase the memory of our names. In my heart is a vacancy where I have forgotten you and I.
Questioning, 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 questioning. Oh, questioning, questioning, yeah. Questioning, questioning. Oh,
Questioning, questioning. Questioning, questioning. This combustion will erase the memory of you and I. This combustion will erase the memory of you and I. Questioning,
questioning, questioning, questioning.
This combustion will erase the memory of our names. In my heart is a vacancy where I have forgotten you and I.
Nice job, director.
Was that kind of selfish? Yeah, it was. You're welcome. Thank you so much, everybody. That was amazing. I think that even this, though, right? Like, I have had the joy and privilege of playing with these folks as well for a few years, once every little while, and you build that memory in your bodies of how to engage, right? Do you have any questions out there? Cool. How's everyone doing for time? We good? Yes, question, go on, go ahead. I think a big part of it, so the question is, do you ever get thrown off by music or something that throws you off? Absolutely. I have a piece that I developed as meant to be as an improvisation, and I asked the artist to play the ocean, whatever that means for them, and sometimes it's like really tonal and really jazzy, and sometimes it's like amorphous, atonal, and modern, and sometimes it's like hip-hop. It's weird. Not hip-hop's not weird, I'm saying the variety is weird, and it can totally like mess with you, right? I think it takes practice, and it takes forced discomfort, contained discomfort. You know that, hey, you know what, I'm gonna go in the space, and it might not feel right, and also, you learn when, say, someone's like not jiving with you, and that's all. Like everyone here is so generous. That's when I said earlier about the bar being set so high, because this is the possibility, this a possibility, and when we're all learning together, sometimes they don't know they don't know as well, or they don't know yet, and it takes time to learn that. So practice is a big part of it, and just microdosing it. That's what I think it is. Any other questions? Cool. I'd like to open the floor. Yes. Yeah. Also being prepared, right? Doing your part to be ready to play in the ensemble. All festival I've been pushing this narrative that we are an ensemble putting on a show for everyone, because they see from the beginning of the show to the end of the show, right? It's one story for them. So I think being ready for that's really important. I just wanted to create a space for maybe one poem, one person to come up here and jam, and also people can come up and jam. I've got another extra ukulele if you want to play whatever, but we can just like play. Sound good, Leo? Cool. Yeah, please. Oh, sorry. I can't believe that I didn't let the panelists speak.
I just want to say, I think that like it behooves us to look at getting thrown off as a gift, right? As a gift, it opens us up to some other possibility that perhaps we didn't hear or think of or see, and you know, there are no mistakes.
So who has some like thing they might want to play with? Hands up. Couple people. I am gonna ask Shaheda. Come on up here. Cool.
Hello. How's everyone feeling? No, you're feeling better than that. That was absolutely incredible. How's everyone feeling? Good. This band is absolutely phenomenal. Your voice is a gift, so I'm excited to play with y'all. This piece is a piece about girlhood. It's a bit of nostalgia. Yeah. I found a home in a girlhood that I'm afraid to lose. I'm afraid of becoming a woman covered in tattoos, acting as symbols of stories her soul will eternally carry. I found a home in a girlhood that I'm afraid to lose. I'm afraid that I may never become the mother I envisioned, a mother to future children whose names already written, already imprinted in my being, calling to the stars and moments that I could only describe as dreaming. I found a home in a girlhood that I'm afraid to lose. I'm afraid that one day generational curses might break me. My ancestors' trauma, a weight that became too heavy to hold, bonded to my womb, looming and lurking in every place I thought love made space for me. Old scriptures and broken histories translated into faded chains on me. The word free,
chains on me, free,
like loyalty to me, a thought that constantly consumes me. I found a home in a girlhood that I'm afraid to lose. I'm afraid that mistrust became like a second language to me. Maybe even a second skin to me, more familiar than my mother tongue to me, more familial than kin to me. It's almost as if my pain is painted on me, vandalized between stretch marks and beauty marks. It's written out on my heart, H-U-R-T. Can't you see?
Can't you see?
I found a home in a girlhood that I'm afraid to lose.
Thanks so much, everybody. I kind of wanted that to keep going. You know what? Get back up here. Get back up here. Get back up here. We ain't done. We ain't done. Let's go. Let's go.
I was like, dang, we done?
There's something that didn't happen this year, and I'm going to just ask for it to happen because I'm the artistic director. I just had this vibe of like the room activating with it. I felt a little bit of like Leo in his glory leading us into something together, and CR conducting the shit out of all of us. It sound like can we do that? You know, play? Cool, cool. And you want to jump in again? Is that cool? Let's go. Let's go. Let's try one more time. I'll turn it over to my team. Go for it.
Same piece?
Yeah, I think so, yeah. Yeah, let's go.
We can switch. We can do something like that. Do you want me to start or do you want me to come in after? Start? Okay. Pardon? Oh, take the stand?
Yes.
Okay.
Do you want to use this? When Lily Allen says something, you listen. And let me just fill in, thank you. I'm going to repeat just so the people online can hear you, okay? Unless you want to come up here and say it here. You're welcome to come up if you want, or I can repeat for you. Okay, you're going to stay over there? That's fine. Lillian's saying, take a stance. In earlier workshops, both with the incredible Marie Metaphor, myself, John McCrae, we all talked about intention. Who are you speaking to? What is your position? What do you want? And as an artist, as a speaker, as a voice, coming in with a clearer offer really helps drive the ensemble as well. This clearly is kind of like a collaboration, but you're the driving story because we first heard it, right? So whatever it is that you have, whatever stance you've taken, don't tell us, just do it. And we'll just get there.
Or could we do the opposite? Could you tell us? Well, no, but I was like, we were playing major, right? And even better than major, we were doing major 7, so it's got that, you know. But if you're like, I was actually, you know, thinking minor, or if your stance is, I want to go there, maybe give us that kind of what you want us to do. If you want us to be more aggressive or even more laid back.
I think if we could be more aggressive, because sometimes the thoughts are almost erratic.
Be more aggressive with
I'll be more aggressive. Yeah.
Right.
Cool.
Where's the other mic? Oh, you got it?
I think Lillian's saying something. One second. More. Okay. Cool. Thank you. that I'm afraid to lose.
Yeah.
I'm afraid of becoming a woman covered in tattoos, acting as symbols her stories, her soul will eternally carry. I found a home in a girlhood that I'm afraid to lose. I'm afraid that I may never become the mother I envision. A mother to future children whose names are already written, already imprinted in my being, calling to the stars in moments that I could only describe as dreaming. I found a home. I'm afraid that one day generational curses might break me. My ancestors' trauma a weight that became too heavy to hold. Bonded to my womb, looming and lurking in every place I thought love made space for me. I found a home in a girlhood that I'm afraid to lose. I'm afraid that mistrust became like a second language to me. Maybe even a second skin to me, more familiar than my mother tongue to me, more familiar than kin to me. It's almost as if my pain is painted on me, vandalized between stretch marks and beauty marks, and it's written out on my heart, H-U-R-T, can't you see? I found a home in a girlhood that I'm afraid to
Have you done? Shahid, everybody! With Masterclass coach from Lillian Allen, Sierra Avery, Leo D. Johnson, Adrian Neblett, Ross, and Kevin. What's up? So, Shahida, how was that for Shahada? How was that for you?
That was cool. I think this is a super new piece for me. I usually like to memorize, so it's fun when you don't commit to the thought of what a piece is, and when you can tap into what are the different parts of me that resonate with this, and kind of finding that dominant power within it. But when you can collaborate, you also find how does it resonate with other people, and that translates, I think, really beautifully.
Yes.
Thanks so much. Thank you so much, everybody. Big love to show in the back on our volunteer, Ali, our listener. Gotta love this space, the Wise Hall. It's kind of the home for us for a long time. And thank you all for being here today. How was that? Yeah? The stage space. Thanks for online. Big love to Brad and Michael. I do need to say these things because it's important to say these things because otherwise they stop giving us money. So thank you to the Canada Council for the Arts, BC Arts Council, Province of BC, Department of Canadian Heritage, and all of our partners like the Writers Festival, like Push Theatre Festival, like Historic Jogagawa House. It's been a really, really, really hard year for the arts, especially in this region. Actually, I'm sure it's not especially this region. I'm sure it's everywhere. And a lot of arts organizations band together through a lot of beseeching, helping, asking to offer space, offer kind. So really a big love to the Wise Hall and the team here for just letting us do this thing. Thanks, everybody. Thanks, the band. Thanks so much. This Abbey is Saturday night. And for those who are poets here, my last two plugs is on Saturday at 10